coming up. Ba-doop-a-doop. Hello, all. I was making the silly noise this time.
Oh.
Rather than like
Set me up.
Rather than setting you up for a silly noise.
There's a rule that Andy has to do that, though.
Well, thank goodness it's not written down.
Yeah, if it is, I just broke it.
Gasp.
Welcome back all for part 2 of Earth Unmade. We're in the middle of downtime. And I think it's Abbott's action.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yep.
Which of these many projects would you like to work on? Or would you like to just do something else entirely?
Turns out that Abbott's going to try and address some of the many problems presented to her and sitting and ready. So one of the things that I am a little uncertain about, so if I look at these, there's 3 projects that I see and I'm like, need to work on that, which is Abbott's Apology, the Hangman Mourns, and then joining the choir, rather that I would prefer not to.
Yes.
And one of the things, depending on how it goes, in regards to joining the choir, what Abbott's tasked with doing there is asserting herself as an individual.
Yeah, against this like overwhelming, all-consuming thing.
Sort of like mind-shattering kind of force, right? Like it's so much bigger than any of us.
Not as lovely of a conversationalist as Abbott had hoped. Certainly.
Probably not your friend.
No, I don't think so. And so go ahead.
On the upshot, it didn't try to like manipulate and seduce you into thinking it was your friend. It didn't be like, hello, I have cookies and biscuits. Just come to the dark side and join me. You know, at least it was just like, hi, I'm here to eat your mind and make you one of me.
I don't understand you as a person. You're just a thing and I will consume you.
Yeah.
It was very straightforward in that way.
Abbott knows how to operate in those contexts. Turns out.
Yes, comfortingly direct in its pursuits.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so,
like Prophet.
That's fine. Everything's fine. So that all being said, one of the things I continue to sort of mull over is like, what does it look like for Abbott to push back against this big old thing that in my imagination like is kind of riding around in like a back segment of her like awareness always, in addition to having impacted like her body.
If anyone were to ask you to point to it, you would always know which way to point. It's one of those things like you're just kind of always aware that it is there and that it is present.
Great. Wonderful. So in the meantime, I imagine that amid all the work that is going on as the Bastion is on like high alert, that Abbott manages to like kip up in a corner and grab a nap for, a whole 10 minutes before some new like very loud something goes wrong with an angle grinder. And that probably correlates to some, like assuredly correlates to some dream. Of like this, all these 1,000 eyes and wings and whispering. And instead of pushing back against that, I think Abbott sort of wakes up with a start, and chooses to instead go. So I'm trying to figure out how to like slice up all of the. I'm basically gonna do a bunch of projects, and I just don't know what order to do them in. Or because I have 2 downtime actions, and I have just 2 pie slices I can put anywhere.
So a pie slice could go to this 6 count clock, which is the one you're trying to complete to get rid of this other clock.
Yes. But I still don't know what it looks like fictionally.
I mean, you having a dream about it and then like waking up from it and being like, oh, okay, no, there are other more important things. Could be like putting that out of your mind and burying that for good if you want.
Okay. So here, I think what that looks like is that all the things that come to follow the 2, if the next 2 projects work, then I'll put a pie slice in that, which is Abbott wants to go support the Hangman and hopefully see about apologizing to Tor.
Okay.
So that means I don't know how do I roll the dice in the right order if I want to like complete that one. So hold a pie slice in reserve, hopefully, for join the choir.
Yep.
Then like put one into the hangman, and then roll for like.
You should probably roll first because you might roll 2 slices.
Okay.
Yeah, if you roll and you fix the hangman, or if you both of them need 2 slices. So if you roll and you get 2 anyway, then that just does it.
So do all of that first.
Yeah, do your rolling first and then assign your free pie pieces afterwards, I would say.
Great. I imagine that after this like nap in the middle of like the hubbub of everything, which is probably again like it's probably Abbott curled up somewhere near the moon, under like in between the moon's feet, as ever, in the middle of all of this, the same place that no one knows where to find Abbott. And then in waking up, she'll just sort of shake out, and there's probably some like nuts and bolts that like fell out of her pocket, or you know, these tiny little bits and pieces, and she'll shake out and still look surprisingly like weary, having been just up, and will make a point amid, and I imagine similarly to the way in which Prophet was very quiet amid all the hubbub, will approach the hangman.
What's the timeline in terms of, is Prophet still there? Has Prophet already left? Is Prophet trapped inside of a chain?
Prophet's already gone.
Okay.
So, alas. But
I love this as an opportunity for the two of you to like communicate indirectly by way of this other thing.
Right. Like I feel like there's like there must be like a, you know, like a message left over, like post system of like, hey engine, can you tell Abbott how I'm feeling for me? You know, like you arrive and it's like, you've got mail.
You have feelings.
Yeah, you've got feels.
Every day, all the time.
Yeah, so like you approach the hangman and it's there curled up around this other thing.
And for Abbott, rather than like wriggling into and under chains, it's very much about, I imagine that the hangman has a hand like curled around a corner of this, like fallen friend or love or and Abbott will go over and stand near their climb, like probably will not climb on top of anybody today just yet. Might be a little rude.
Sorry.
That's not a point of judgment, just a point of
no
Abbott.
That's not what I was going.
Sean was going to make a sexy joke.
Yeah, I was going to make a sexy joke.
Oh, I missed it.
It's okay.
So that aside, I think Abbott will take the time to just in essence like bear witness to the hangman's like sorrow, and if the hangman's willing, Abbott wants to know about who this other, like we'll ask questions about them if the hangman wants to talk about it, and like basically like hold space for the hangman and like.
Cool. Yeah, I think it like can communicate some stuff to you.
Yeah.
Because again, you can empathize with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and roll and I'll tell you what you learn about the hangman and its dead friend.
I want to learn a lot about how everybody's doing. Is there anything? Let's see. I use this to gather info. Nothing new about fame, identity, or reputation to my eye.
You weren't like, if anyone can fix it, it's me, Abbott, excellent fixer of engines.
Nope, never the thing.
So
great. And I am. Did I click what I think I clicked? Empathize. I'm aiming to empathize as ever, right? Like to be explicit. Boom. 5.
Perfect. That's exactly what you needed.
Well, that is enough to fix it up. And so, yeah, you're like sitting there. Do you like put a hand on it, or do you just like hang out with it?
I'll make physical contact. That's very much a thing that Abbott's happy to do with engines and not people.
Yeah. So, yeah, like where you touch it, it kind of like shies away initially, like calms down a bit, like a dog that's been injured or something, you know, like when they're just like so rattled that they don't want to be engaged with at all.
Yeah. Abbott won't, push and is patient. And
yeah, so like after some time of it just being upset there, and you being present and being like chill, it like calms down, and like a single finger kind of extends to you, and you like put a hand on it.
Mm-hmm.
And there is this big wave of sadness that just like rushes into you when you touch its hand. And I think just like you get all these memories of like the time before, like back when Abbott piloted the Hanged Man, and this other engine, which is Prophet, like a big, gosh, what is it? What is it like? It's some kind of big, like piggy kind of thing. It has like a very hog-like face, and it's really like stocky,
like a big boar. That kind of context.
And it's really like round and had this big belly. And you see like brief flashes of the Hanged Man. It's like from the Hanged Man's perspective, these memories. And so you see its own body back when it was still intact.
Yeah.
So this is from like way, 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 way back in the day. And it and this like big burly porcine thing like being all rough and tumble and like fighting some stuff, and then also just like being in what you recognize as both being the hangar, but also like back then it was more of a temple, and them just like being set across from each other and just always kind of being like a pair together. So there are all of these feelings of like nostalgia and, grief and all this kind of stuff. And then there are also moments where Prophet's face is seen.
Yeah.
Like her like climbing out of the Hanged Man and like waving to it. And like there's just all these like poignant moments with her that kind of like bleed into you from the Hanged Man. And this like big sense of loss, both directed at its other engine friend, but then also about how it can't connect with Prophet anymore. And I don't know, however much parallelism you want to put in there with you,
right?
But it has this experience of missing Prophet, and then it also there's a present day memory of just now when Prophet was commiserating with it and like being kind, and so you get to see her doing kind of a thing that you would do of like being nice to an engine. And so it gives you, it just like vents all of that at you.
Right. And Abbott will do her level best to remain curious and open about all of it.
And not just be like, Prophet, ew, gross, like all away.
Icky, my engine.
Well, the things from yesterday's are not hard, but the thing where like Prophet was just here is like there's Abbott's very immediately like suspicious and kind of disbelieving.
Yeah. Well, it sounds about right. Sounds legit.
But like coupled with it is this flooding of like good feelings.
Yeah.
That are external to you. They're from the engine.
Which is that's why Abbott does not flatly disbelieve. Right.
It's also very alarming and weird because it feels good about this person that you have all these like suspicious feelings around. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like whereas before it was like tightly wound around this other thing, it kind of like sags a bit and lets go and starts like retracting back into itself, and its limbs like instead of being all stretched out on the chains kind of like stack back together, because I imagine them as being like all of the pieces, but then they can like split apart and be extendy. So it like collects itself back into a more or less humanoid shape, and like gets up off of the thing, and all the crews are like, "Whoa, okay, another like thing is
Another
happening."
alive on its own engine. What's
Yeah,
going
like,
on
oh
here?
geez, and they like people like scatter, and so we just see like tiny you as this thing like stands up and
Mm-hmm.
like keeps a hand on the wreck of its friend for a little bit and like bows its head and then like nods and walks back to its berth and like carefully reinstalls itself in it and like locks itself in basically.
Mm-hmm.
And all the work crews are just like watching like
If I was a work crew member, I would be so annoyed. I'd be like, you don't even know how long it takes us to get them into that position. Like we spend like 12 hours trying to remount them back there with 1,000 cables, and it just walked
and
in.
you know, like it could just step on you. It's so huge.
Right.
It's just walking through the hangar.
Yeah, and like its foot lands like very close to someone, and they're like, "Ugh," and then it like moves on. Yeah. So that whole thing happens, but you got it fixed up. It's willing to not be in a catatonic state of depression and sadness.
Which, I mean, there's space for that.
Which, you know, that's a good day.
Yep.
So, question then, because when Abbott completes a project,
You get XP.
I get XP.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do, 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 do.
Got to chain through 2 or 3 of these, Andy. I believe.
Work in progress.
Are you like close to an advance?
Oh. I don't know. I've got XP I need to burn that I haven't because I'm indecisive.
Everyone just like sets up projects so that you can like come in and be like, it's done. I get XP.
Yeah,
Ding!
totally.
Project's done.
I mean, personally, I think that was just goes to show Abbott and Prophet work great when they're working on projects together.
True story.
Right? Like how good was that right there?
Excellent.
The mechanics reinforce it. What's Raina up to? Assuming you were on
this is pretty straightforward. I think there's a moment where this is close to next mission cycle, right? I think Reina walks up to Judgment and sort of like hits the button and like has the like elevator raise her up so that she's eye level with it, right?
Dramatically hits the button and then the elevator goes yeah, like very slowly goes up and you're like posing like
right. It takes forever to get up to the top.
So I think Reina's gonna have a big speech towards it, where she's essentially gives it a talk like, "Hey, listen up! I know that you're supposed to be the mech for the hottest shit of the hottest shit. That's me. I know you're born in your last pilot, but you've had like 1,000 years." And she like puts a hand on it and is just like, "Look, I get it. It's tough. Losing a friend. I can sympathize. I can empathize." And I give it this like big speech about, I'm like, here's the down low. The biggest bad of the biggest bad is coming. And you locked it away. And Prophet keeps talking about these prophecies about how I'm supposed to seal away the end of the world. She also keeps talking about how, like, you know, she's trying to avoid some terrible outcome. But you know what? She's too busy being sad. So you and I are going to be a team. And in order to signify that, I dramatically pull out a scarf and wrap it around my neck. And then I point dramatically somewhere else in the hangar where I have paid some people out of my own rations to make another giant scarf with the symbol that I saved last episode from its original pilot. I'm like, are we going to do this or what? And so like, I'm going to like try and clamber into it and get to its cockpit. And part of this is like taking it out for a test run, but also like trying to bond with it, you know?
Nice.
That's my thing.
Are you social linking with Judgment?
I am.
Nice.
Of course I am. You gotta link with your mech. I mean, how are you supposed to be a badass pilot? Also, I don't really know a whole lot about Judgment other than it's got this like attitude of like, I am the best mech for the best pilots. And so like, this is my way of trying to say like, all right, you can at least talk to me, right? Like you and I, we both get it, you know, this whole being better thing. Yeah. So hilariously, I'm actually like, I'm in some ways I'm trying to bond with both its like virtue, which is like bravery. Like I am trying to tell her that, like we'll go up against
we
the
gotta
possible
do
odds.
the hero thing.
Also, I'm being brave in a different way. I'm like trying to be vulnerable at it, which in my opinion is a form of bravery. And then the other thing is I'm also trying to appeal to its imperiousness and obvious sense of being better than average. So
very proud.
Yeah. So if that's refresh my memory. I think I roll something. I feel like I'm expressing.
Yep. Yeah, you're using.
I'm not as good as I am at defying, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah. You're trying to like convince it that like, hey, you're the best. I'm the best. Let's work together. We're gonna do the thing.
We'll make a team.
Awesome.
And go ahead.
I also think Red Baroness matters this time.
Yeah, because this is about your rep as being like, I am the best pilot. So you want me.
Fame, identity, or reputation is at stake.
Now I know this is a little bit dicey grubby, but I'll ask the question just once, which is, if I appeal to its virtue, do I get a +1D? Or is this like social links where if the person that is listening to you trying to social link with them enjoys the way that you're social linking, you get +1D?
Yeah, the way that works for engines is connected to their virtues. So yeah.
Do you feel like I have?
I think you did.
Excellent.
We're checking all the boxes.
Nice.
I love
boxes.
I love how this all feeds into the various qualities when you look at the Judgment Tarot card. That all the things that you just did, Strosh. Like it doesn't have to be one-on-one. Also, it is very handily in alignment with those things. And
there is a picture of someone being like,
all right,
like,
and I get two social
big thing flying in the air.
Yeah, and so the mech pulls out a big horn and it doots it at you, just like in the picture as well. Only things in the picture can happen from now.
Yes, the scarf that you gave it is clearly a white scarf with an orange cross on it.
And it doots its horn at you.
It had like a shield with kind of like a cross pattern in it, but not like a cross, like a just plus sign.
Yeah, it has. I picture it as having like hoplite kind of deal where it's got the helmet, it's got the big round shield, and then the spears that it can manifest. Or maybe it doesn't have a shield. I think it just doesn't have a shield. I think it's.
I dig shields. I think, especially if it seems to reach into space and pull shield space out too.
Could probably manifest a shield if that felt.
If you want it, if while you pilot it, maybe it manifests a spear. Because while its previous pilot did, it was all aggression. Maybe you're a more protecty vibe.
Have you met Raina?
It's a shield.
Actually, I think that's fair. I think it may be both. So cool. That's it for me. I'm done. Actually, nice. I kind of want to see Abbott finish that clock and supersede Sean's social link with maybe an apology.
It can happen at the same time.
I think it's going to happen in the same scene. Yeah.
All right, cool.
And I mean, I feel like Prophet's social link with Abbott may give her the opportunity to apologize. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But I think they don't have to be symmetrical or anything like that. But yeah, I think it's one scene either way.
It's convenient because the two of you are both pointed at each other.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, so we should decide this together. Where do you think Abbott and Prophet finally get a chance to talk amongst I'm sure by now they're already saying get ready for the next mission, and there's pressure, and that is never relenting, and there's still klaxons going on because we're still on alert because of the damage to the conclave and all that jazz. So I don't think there's a lot of peace to be had.
I feel like it's probably the sort of thing that happens, like a stolen moment, like in walking down the hallway. Like cool. They're both like in the process of looking for each other, and it could be depending on what feels good to you. Like it might be that Abbott actually beats you to the punch on being like, "Hey," instead of like ignoring you and running past you or something, and like just pulls you aside. Because there's, I imagine, all kinds of like all these big, heavy like barrels and crates that are half open and just like tuck up in between a big pile of stuff.
Nice. Would you be okay finding Prophet practicing talking to you? Like finding Prophet, she's looking at one of the big murals, one of the big like murals that are on the walls that are all dusty.
Yeah.
And there's all this like stuff around, and she's like under her breath being like, Hi, Abbott. There's something I've been meaning to tell you. No. Hi, Abbott. There's something right? Like I feel like that's where you would
Great.
find her. Cool.
Is that correct? And then that's in like the big, tall, dusty spaces where Abbott often walks. And
yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're largely abandoned by the like crew. Like no one goes there to do stuff.
It's like long-term storage, and just the way they throw crap, right? So she's sitting facing the wall and sitting on one of these like old big cooler style things. So, it's got a lid and there's probably
like a ruggedized crate of some
exactly.
Awesome. I importantly, so before we launch into that, the part where Abbott's only halfway through filling up this clock for being able to apologize.
That's cool.
So that and like I'd like to resolve that before this happens.
Oh, but I think you can resolve it in this action if you want. Like you don't have to.
Great.
Like you can apologize. I mean, sorry, I don't want to cut you off in terms of what you'd like in the fiction.
Let me tell you what happens. How about? Which is that Abbott spends a lot of time back walking through those halls, looking at these various murals that are of profit and like asking those figures questions, which are arguably questions of herself. So, and I don't know if that's more analyze or if that's probably based on the way Abbott does anything.
Yep.
So I'm going to see if we finish that or if it's Abbott gets stubborn about it. And I don't know that there's any other contributing factors. So boom. So I just get 1 for that, which means that I'll then spend 1 of my extra pie slices to finish that out. Look, I get XP.
Nice. And then you could spend your last extra pie slice to finish the other one and get another XP.
Yeah, we'll see what this looks like and how this conversation goes, because I think that might be the thing.
That might be good motivation to, check off that other thing.
Yeah, I like it.
It goes poorly. You advance the clock to join the choir.
Maybe.
Awesome.
Great. So that being the case, Abbott ends up hearing Tor.
Yep. Yeah, she definitely. I think so, because Tor doesn't think anyone's going to be down here, and it's. I mean, obviously, this is just what I'm going to say to you anyway, but I'm going to say it to the wall first. I've been wanting to talk to you, but I'm so afraid to say anything because our relationship's already so fragile that I'm afraid if I say anything, I'm just going to break the tenuous hold. But I'm really mad at you, and I don't know how to say it. You hurt me really, really badly. And then she starts over again and like tries to get to that point again.
Abbott will let that like repeat thrice before cutting in with, I owe you an apology.
And like probably like falls off. Like it goes from like really sad to like there's like this comedic beat of like literally Prophet falls over off of the side of this cooler. It's like what
right.
She was so startled by that. Like she did not expect anyone behind her.
And at which point, like Abbott will roll up out of like all the big cavernous dark.
Yeah.
And is kind of looking askance at Tor on the floor and also maybe a little humored.
Yeah, Tor is sort of ridiculous on the ground, like dusting herself off, and she gets back because it's very dusty here. And she gets back up. What now? Hold on. What? Sorry? She sticks her finger in her ear. See, I don't think I heard. Say that again. Hold on. How much of that did you just hear?
How many questions do you want to ask or do you want to listen today?
I'm listening.
I try to learn how to do a thing. So I'm going to practice.
She sort of looks at the wall where she was just practicing at and nods.
I owe you an apology, and I don't really know how to do that, but I think I'll do it anyway. Can I do that?
She stands up and like sits down at the on the crate, which is very long. It's long enough that two people can sit on it and not actually have any like. It's
proximity.
Not like, yeah, they can still be kind of far apart. And so she like sits down on it, like, okay, like this is how people can apologize, as they sit down next to each other. So she kind of invites you silently, without saying anything, she doesn't want to interrupt, to sit as close or as far as you want on this bench from her.
Abbott will walk and stand in front of you so that she can look you in the eyes.
Okay.
Instead of pretending that you're another statue in the hallway. So.
She's looking up at you.
But they're probably eye level.
Oh, is like, Abbott that short that if Prophet's sitting, that she'll...
Abbott's short, and I imagine the crate's relatively tall.
Yeah, sounds good.
But I think that's important in the grand scheme of peers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know everything I need to apologize for, which is a problem. So I hear you're angry, and I know I hurt you, and I don't understand everything, but I know that I'm been selfish and made bad choices that hurt you and Raina in the Bastion, and you got in trouble. And there's more. It's hard to find. I don't know how to fix any of it. People died.
I think that's like the first time that she reacts. She nods when you say people died.
I don't know how to talk to you or anyone. I'm not even supposed to be here. No, that doesn't matter.
It does.
Doesn't change that I'm sorry and that I made bad choices and that I hurt you and other people.
She sort of sits there, letting that sit for a while. Probably because she doesn't want to interrupt you, but also... Yeah, all those things are true. And you can't be sorry, though, for me wanting something that you don't feel. I mean, you can, I guess, but it's not on you to be sorry for the fact that I want us to be like we were and we're not anymore. And I don't know how to deal with that. And I don't know how to deal with dating your sister. I don't know how to deal with the fact that it just ended abruptly and there was never any explanation for why suddenly. I mean, I know why they say we can't be together, but I don't know why you don't want to be with me anymore. And it's not my prerogative to know how you feel if you don't want to tell me, but it's been killing me. And also, yeah, you got a bunch of people killed and put your own curiosity in front of all of our well-being. And I felt like that was a huge betrayal, that too. So I've got a real weird mixed, complex bat of emotions about you. And I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer. And I don't think it's all on you. It's on me to apologize for not letting you go. I should just let you go, but I don't know how to.
And Abbott will sort of just, her eyes get increasingly large. And she just tries to stay present and participate, and like big dishy eyes, and like it's hard. Like it's just very difficult. I was wrong. I thought that I could be a peer to Steigl. And in the meantime, I'm not treating you like a peer.
I mean, it's kind of everything I believe in that you're spitting. Like everything I've ever believed in about them being our enemy and the worst thing ever, and you inviting them onto our doorstep. But what do I know, right? Maybe they're just friends that we should talk to. It's hard for me when I spent my entire life fighting these things and you want to find out all about them. I mean, there's wanting to find out about them to destroy them, but you don't want to destroy things. You want to understand them, which is great and wonderful, but I don't know. But I can't agree. I'm with Raina on these. I want to defeat them. I want to stop them. I want to send them back. I want to stop the projects that we have investigating them because everybody suffers because of it. You're probably asking really important, good questions, but for me, those are really painful to ask or to even consider. Also, I feel like we're biting off way more than we can chew right now. Like we can't solve all these problems, even between just you and me.
I don't know if we can even solve any of them.
Can I ask you questions maybe too direct? I'm gonna
That'd be novel.
I'm gonna channel
say something to me in the.
I would really like to still be with you romantically, and I wonder if you feel that way about me.
I wonder if you will always use words around duty, and if you will ever be able to be anything other than duty bound.
I don't think I have a choice, or I don't elect to make a choice. I mean, I think I have to do what I have to do, which is what it seems like you've picked up on.
You're not subtle.
She like looks up, and although it's this very quiet area, there's still like klaxons going off in the background. I'm like, nothing about this place is subtle, and there's no time for us to like sort things out. There's only these few moments in like, she looks at her watch and like no time at all. We have to be back on duty. I don't want to throw away what little we have. We've got to go out and fight the next big bad monster. I don't think there's any choice in that. It's what we signed up to do, and it's what the world needs. Does that mean that you can't love me? In the way that I envision you loving me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to qualify the way you have feelings. I just mean, does that mean you can't reciprocate the feelings that I have or don't want to? I'm not trying to tell you how to feel. I just use bad words.
I think Abbott's like increasingly like moon-eyed and maybe like taking a shuffling half step back.
It's totally ridiculous because Prophet's like, can you just tell me everything is going to be fine between us, right? Like Prophet's asking for like...
Says the person that can see ahead in time.
I know.
Go on.
I don't know how to fix all my bad choices, and I don't know anything. I do know that I'm not supposed to be a pilot, and that I'm not a good pilot, and that I shouldn't be here, but I'll try.
Does it matter at all that none of the things you said before I'll try matter to me? I don't care if you're a good pilot. I don't care if you're supposed to be here. I don't care if, honestly, I don't even care about all the things that we've all done wrong. I just want to keep trying with you. And I'm afraid that every time I reach out, I'm going to break what little we have. And I don't want to be given license to just, I don't want to be given license to do anything, but I kind of want to know if you want to try with me and see what happens. Maybe we could talk again.
that one.
I'd like that.
All right.
Yay.
Roll some dice.
All right. What action did you want to take with Prophet?
Oh my goodness gracious. I can't decide if it's good old Abbott sticking to analyze or if there's some like express in there.
That is a correct answer to the question, but it's because I answered, but that's not the question I meant to ask. Do you want to form a social link or do you want to help Abbott recover or Prophet recover?
Oh.
Because both are good.
Remind me what Tor's woes are.
Tor's woes are that she is unloved, disgraced, is full of existential dread, and is drained.
So then it makes lots of sense for
it makes buckets of mechanical
yes.
sense, but it's not an imperative by any stretch.
Well, I think it makes fictional sense around the idea of being unloved and disgraced and having all this dread that may or may not go anywhere at all. But I think in particular, feeling unloved.
Yeah, it definitely will go somewhere because I'm one tick away from that clock filling. And I've been one tick away for like 4 sessions.
So I think it depends on what feels more correct. Like this idea in a holistic sense of healing or the idea of having the tools going forward to collaborate in what happens next.
I think because of the injuries that she has right now, healing makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, there's something, one of the things I need to harken back to is that clock permitted Abbott to social link with Tor. Like that was the bargain.
I mean, I'm fine with it being either one.
Okay.
It lets you do an action you wouldn't normally be able to do.
Great. Let's go and do healing then, because that sounds like the thing that Tor really wants. Right? Like in the minute, here and now, some like affirmation.
Yeah.
Is the way I would perceive that.
Yeah, you're gonna move all sorts of things off. Yeah, you're gonna change the state.
Change the whole landscape of because like if you have 4 harm tags, then if I give you another, it's just automatically on your sheet.
It's automatically level 3.
And then if I get another, you automatically die.
Yep.
So it's real bad.
Now I only have 5 stress. It's fine.
Because I guarantee you I would go after you if I saw you in that position too. I'd just be like, yeah, it's harm. And this other consequence, it's also harm. You take some more harm. Are you dead yet? Take some harm.
All right. Cool. And I think it's worth you rolling first because it'll affect my ability to social link with you.
Great. I need to know what I'm rolling. I've as someone whose character cannot social link or help people recover, I don't know how to do those things.
Oh, it's the action that you think is right.
Great.
And I could make a vouch for empathize. I feel like that makes sense. Normally you can only do that with machines, but I think the virtue of this clock is allowing you to do it with a person. I could see confess, you saying how you feel.
The consequences of your role are that it's just like working on a long-term project, except the project you're working on is Sean's character's healing clock.
Great.
4 o'clock, it's at 3 out of 4 already. As soon as that clock fills, all of his harm bumps down 1 level. So all the level 1 harm goes away. Level 2 harm becomes level 1 harm.
Yep.
And so on.
Great.
And then any extra will continue filling the next cycle of that clock.
Okay. I feel like this is maybe the one time I am like, there's a part of me that's like, no, Abbott doesn't empathize with people. Like, no.
But this is exceptional enough.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you earned it by pursuing that clock and having this very difficult conversation.
Miserable, inner, terrible conversation. Yes. Great. So Abbott, it will seek to empathize with Tor. Position desperate.
Yes.
Effect limited.
Effect great.
Okay, great. Is there anything that I need to be mindful of in regards to bonus dice in this? I don't think so.
Recovery doesn't work like social links, where if I like it, it doesn't add
No.
a die.
What crew ability do y'all ended up taking today?
Was the one where when you transcend, you can do recovery.
Oh, right. Okay. So
Yeah.
So I don't think y'all have any bonuses here.
Great. Boom. A 3, 1.
Awesome.
Right?
That puts one tick on.
One tick.
You complete the clock. Save mark XP.
Does that count?
It's not a long-term project.
It's not a long-term project.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna change drained to tired, and existential dread and disgrace goes away. Drain, I'm gonna download to tired and unload forlorn.
Heartworn.
Heartworn. That's good. There we go. Awesome. I am so ready to take more harm now. Bring it at me, Andrew.
Boo-woo.
I have 3 more slots.
Yeah, so I just need to hit you with 4 separate consequences that deal harm. Yeah, easy.
I'm good. That we have. I got special armor. We got heavy gear. It's all good. Take it. And Prophet is in turn in the same action. She's been confessing her feelings to Abbott that she hasn't been saying, and trying to also be cognizant of saying, like, word salading all of her feelings while still not trying to tell Abbott how she should feel, and making space for her to have whatever reaction she has to all that as possible. So it's a little bit empathized, but I'm gonna go with confess because that's where it started. This is what's going on with me. And I'm gonna try and social link. Did you like it? Did you like that conversation?
That was important. That needed to happen.
Cool.
Yeah, begrudgingly, yeah.
All right.
At least initially, it just kept getting harder.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a bonus die for that.
Cool.
And I don't think I used my impossible knowledge. I didn't say, like, we have to. The fate of the universe is dependent on us.
Abbott's your big blind spot.
Abbott is my big blind spot.
I mean,
exactly.
She bowled you over by surprise. Like, she surprised you off of your seat.
Exactly. Right.
Which was so funny.
Superb.
And Prophet is never surprised, right? She clearly has lots of blind spots. But Abbott is the biggest one. All right, so I'm gonna roll confess. Desperate. No, I'm not gonna mark it as desperate, although it totally feels like it, because then I'm gonna accidentally go back and think I should mark XP for it. So one bonus die for. Wow, we're terrible at this.
Being a people is really difficult.
Yeah, so you get 1 social link.
Hey, that's more than I've had in quite some time.
Yeah.
Great. 1 social link. Choo choo.
Yep. Yay.
Awesome.
And I think that does it for downtime. Oh no, we have our free downtime actions, but
there's in closing, the thing that I imagine for this scene, as the is that Abbott and Tor, like, I imagine that Tor has, like, some obnoxious, like, I don't know if it's a watch or a beepy or there's a clock somewhere that'd be like, it's time to go do the thing.
Yeah, she just looked at her watch a bit ago, so that makes sense of it.
So
chimes, yeah.
And so I imagine that the two of them basically, like, walk down the corridor, like, shoulder, like, in parallel down this big dark empty hall.
Yeah.
And in that decision and in that, like, maybe silence, I want to finish that clock about asserting oneself as an individual in regards to Steigl.
Yay, how connecting with people helps you build up your own defenses too and be stronger on your own. There's one little tiny thing, like, Prophet always walks very sedately, and she never rushes, even when there's, like, crazy stuff going on. She's not rushing, but like you in the long shot of them a little bit, you just barely see an imperceptible. Looks like it's a skip, like maybe
Uh-huh.
like a little bounce.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she's just rushing to
Be on time.
take care of whatever disaster is about to come. So we still have 2 more actions that we could spend on other things.
I would like to roll for at least one of them, which is
yes, please.
proven our track. But I think what happens there is like as you folks are getting into the I'd like just like a tiny moment. This is not related to the roll. It's
No,
just
do it.
there's so I'll remind our audience so that my reaction doesn't seem completely out of place. But I have one of my promises is to keep profit from hurting Abbott's heart, right? So like when I see the 2 of you come into the lunch bay sort of like at the same time, and the 2 of you don't have that like sense of space or distance, like at first, like whichever one of you comes out of the darkness first, like Rena is holding like the piloting gloves and like a helmet under one arm and has like this outrageously large scarf on, and is like, you know, she's in her like, are we ready to go kind of like happy mode and everything. And then when she sees the 2 of you, there's like a complex series of emotions on her face, and she looks
good,
almost
good
disappointed. And I think that there's like a moment where she turns around like on that platform that like raises you up to like go into your piloting chamber or whatever, and she looks at her hand, which still has like the marks from her like gripping everything, and she remembers like promising like everyone, you know, that when push comes to shove, she's gonna be out there and she'll take care of the problem. And she actually like makes a fist again, but this time like not to injure herself, but like with a sense of purpose, and then like puts her gloves on and just like slams her helmet on and just doesn't say a fucking word. So yeah,
Nice.
I am not in Eclipse, but I am playing to my Eclipse's traits. So
nice.
Do it.
I'm going to help the Bastion prepare for some horrible oncoming storm here. And like what I mean by that is I'd like to go out past the barrier solo to investigate like oncoming Leviathans and run patrols and sort of like bring back data for them to have. Is that cool?
Great. Yes, that's totally a good thing to do.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I'm going to roll some analyze if that's all right.
It's my favorite.
Here we go. Oh, which means that I fill up our clock, which is what I wanted to do. A readiness clock.
Cool.
No, it's one shot.
2 segments. No, I get 2 segments normally, but I get +1d because I'm a guardian, and I have an ability that whenever I am looking for weaknesses or things that we can exploit in an enemy, I get +1 effect. So it's +1.
Oh, okay, so that would actually fill it.
Cool.
Boop.
Nice.
Or all the way full. Here, I'm just going to delete all these tags.
We are super ready.
So it is maxed out, making a subsequent action to increase readiness irrelevant.
Is there a different action we can take with our spare actions? It said actions a lot.
There is not, so it goes away. But that's fine. You have
It
everything you
was
could
so
possibly
good
want.
having friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, in the future, yeah, no, adding to our readiness clock is great.
It's a pretty like novel experience.
But to be ready,
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should take a break.
Sure.
And then come back in a bit and figure out if we're going to go on the next mission and all that jazz.
Yeah.
What we'll do. So awesome. Thanks all for sitting with us while we did rad things and while we did sad things and we did srad things.
Rad sad things?
Yeah,
barfing.
Exactly.
There was barfing.
I have a story about that. They'll tell offline.
Oh no.
Bye. I'll see you guys in a few. Oh, not bye. We'll see you in a few minutes.